The secret to great content is not about being everywhere, because spreading yourself thin is exactly why no one's listening in the first place. Just look at GitHub. They create really targeted, high-value developer content that speaks directly to real-world problems. And this all flies in the face of companies just pumping endless amounts of AI-generated manure onto their social media networks. So today, I'm going to flip the table on the usual advice. I'm going to show you how to master content creation by doing less, not more. And I'm going to be sharing expertise that I've garnered from working with over 240 different tech companies to grow audiences and ecosystems, including companies such as IBM, GitHub, the Linux Foundation, and many more. Oh, and don't miss the end of this video, because I'm going to share a pretty counterintuitive hack that's powering growth at one of the most interesting developer tools companies out there. Now, before we get into each of our 5 steps, I want to out the biggest, saltiest, most flavorsome A5 grade bullshit myth in content creation. And that's that good content naturally finds its audience. Well, it doesn't. Audiences don't reward effort, they reward resonance. You see, being a master content creator means being a master of engineered resonance. You need to understand how humans work, how their brains latch onto novelty, identity, and usefulness, and then build for that. Just look at Notion. They don't just post content, they weaponize aesthetics, narrative, and utility like a Swiss Army knife. Their content's not just pretty, but it's useful and it makes people feel smarter by consuming it. Another great example is Supabase. Whether it's their cheeky tweets, crystal clear tutorials, or meme-laced product updates, they've built an authentic voice that really resonates deeply with their audience because it sounds like their audience. You see, psychology tells us that the brain prioritizes 3 things. 1, survival relevant information. 2, socially validating information. And 3, novel patterns. You see, you need to create content that makes the viewer feel, I didn't know that, I needed that, or that's so me. So let's take our first step to making this happen. If you look at Vercel, their product launches and tutorials don't just live on their blog. They're modular snippets spread across X, YouTube, or even their docs. And they are the living incarnation that what you create is only part of the story, and how it travels is the other part. You see, distribution is really about placing your content where people are already hanging out and adapting your content to feel native to that space. So before you create anything, map the platforms that you're using and tailor your content, its format and its tone for each of those different platforms. Don't just post a 10-minute YouTube video and then slap the same thing on LinkedIn. Chop it, caption it, remix it. For example, you could take a single tutorial, post the full video with context and an SEO-rich title on YouTube, slice it into a pithy, insight-packed 90-second YouTube short, which you can then post on LinkedIn as well, with a hook about developer pain points, and then turn the key visual or stat into a punchy, meme-driven carousel or thread on X. Same core idea, 3 completely different executions, and all of this can be done with a part-time virtual assistant, so it doesn't take a ton of time. But here's the killer move. You see, people don't just share content because it's good, they share it because it says something about them. This is why Stripe's developer content works so well. It's not just helpful, but it's cool, it's polished, and it tells developers, you're smart and you're ahead of the curve. And this is where identity triggers come in. They are subtle cues that signal who your content is for and what it says about them. For example, when GitLab launched their DevSecOps initiative, they didn't just post features, they created messaging that really resonated with the developers who saw themselves as very security conscious and ahead of the curve. It wasn't just content, it was an identity statement. So use phrases that your audience uses, show their struggles, make your headlines and visuals scream, this is you. Instead of 5 tips for onboarding, instead use why great developers rage quit bad onboarding. Because that's what developers do. They rage quit. And if content doesn't reflect what your audience is or who they want to be, well, it's invisible. People just don't share facts, they share flags. Oh, and real quick, if you're finding this video helpful, I'd love if you could hit that like and subscribe button. It's a tiny click for you, but it massively helps small channels like mine reach more people. Cheers. Now, let's be honest, nobody is scrolling around on social media in their underwear to be educated. They're scrolling to escape a shitty day at work, to escape a stressful project, a difficult boss, a fear that they're going to get let go, a sense of imposter syndrome. This is why social media can be so unhealthy for so many people. But the reality of social media is that the only way to get seen is to interrupt that pattern, to stop the scroll. But rewarding that with more doom and gloom doesn't work. You need to deliver relief. So we need to get our brains in the mode of breaking patterns and standing out from the crowd. Create content that speaks to these inner worries and challenges. Help them work better with their boss. Help them to have more autonomy in their company. And don't just surprise them with your content, but surprise them in how they consume your content. Linear's homepage animation really stops you. Their videos are fast, sleek, and everything feels frictionless. It's kind of like the content equivalent of finding a free upgrade to business class. Vanta's content, for example, it often opens with stark, no-nonsense, and at times kind of scary truths about security and compliance. And then it immediately offers a practical solution, often wrapped in quirky visuals or casual copy that disarms you. They break the pattern of dry, fear-mongering compliance talk and deliver genuine utility with a dash of personality. So open your content with a surprising stat, a visual, or a blunt truth. Then immediately solve a pain point. Remember, the brain rewards contrast. So if you jolt the viewer and give them relief, well, you build trust and interest. Now, throughout all of this, everyone who creates content wants to be helpful. And LinkedIn is jam-packed with buzzword-spewing thought leaders on a humble bragathon. So being helpful isn't anything particularly new, but few dare to be emotionally helpful. And that's where the gold is. For example, Figma's tutorials don't just teach, they make you feel capable. Their tone is warm. Their examples are grounded. They turn friction into momentum. Sentry's developer-focused content uses sharp, often witty copy that acknowledges the stress of debugging while empowering developers with fast and pretty actionable insights. It's not just here's how, it's we know this is painful and here's how to fix it. You see, emotional utility is about how your content makes someone feel. And people want to feel safe, smart, validated, and powerful. So look at the emotional state your audience is in when they see your content. Are they stressed? Are they lost? Are they excited? Reflect that. Speak with empathy. Don't just show the how, but also acknowledge the ugh. Oh, and real quick, if you're a tech company and you're trying to actually do this stuff, but your audience isn't really responding, well, we can help. You see, here at StateShift, we ride side by side with you and your team to build developer and user ecosystems that drive real adoption and revenue. We've done this for companies big and small with coaching, templates, 27 years of experience across hundreds of different customers. So hit us up by clicking the link down there. All right, so now let's get to the creme de la creme of content mastery. You see, everyone says post consistently, but consistency isn't just about cadence, it's about character. For example, just look at the browser company. Their voice, their visuals, and vibe are instantly recognizable, whether it's their CEO tweeting or a help doc, you know it's them. The same goes for Raycast. They've built a brand around a sleek developer-first identity that runs through everything from their product UI to their snappy video content and at times pretty cheeky X voice. Everything they do feels like it was made by and for power users who really care about design, speed, and elegance. Another great example is Astro. Their site, docs, and announcements are all dripping with style and developer-savvy humor. They don't just teach, but they charm, and it's that charm that is consistent everywhere. So remember, as I said earlier, humans are pattern-matching machines, and part of our survival instinct is to spot patterns that reduce risk and make us feel safer. And this is why your character and your character coming through is super important. If you create content that is useful, but you don't let your personality and character come through, well, you create utility, but you don't create trust. And if you get this wrong and try to fake character, it instantly kills trust. So take, for example, the legendary misstep by some muppet at Microsoft who was attempting to sound young and cool for an event. I'm just going to throw this up on the screen for you to read. Let's read it together. Oh, I know. It's just awful, okay? The moral of the story here is that your audience builds trust through pattern recognition. It's not about frequency. So post fewer times with a more authentic voice, and you'll excel at content far better than the pump and dump crew just spewing nonsense out onto the internet. So let's recap. You now know that content must be engineered for resonance, not just effort. Distribution matters far more than creation. Identity triggers fuel your content being shared. Pattern breaks plus relief equals trust. Emotion utility wins, and consistency is about vibe, not volume. So hopefully we've thoroughly debunked the idea that becoming a master content creator is about being on every platform shouting into the void. It's not. It's about smart, strategic storytelling that feels personal and precise. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you drop me a comment if any of this hits home. Now, if you're focusing on building and attracting a developer audience, there is a massive elephant in the room with most developer engagement. And that's that, honestly, developers just don't trust the way in which you're engaging and reaching out to them, right? And I put together a video that you can go and check out over here, where I walk through the reasons why developers mistrust companies. And I give you some super practical things that you can do today where you can build really authentic trust. So go check out that video next, and I'll see you over there.